Hi, I'm Annalise McCain, your host for Cardinal Connections, and today I'm here with Micaiah, a senior here at Treynor who has been dealing with Wegener's disease. First, Micaiah, can you tell me about yourself, your grade, and then when you came to Treynor?
I'm, as you said, a senior, and I came to Treynor when I was a freshman just because of some issues going on in my old school. And I really hooked into the community here, and I really enjoy the coming from an Omaha school. It's a lot nicer to have a small community like this than it is over there.
Awesome. So, when did you discover that you first had Wegener's disease, and what symptoms did you have that let you know?
When I was it was my sophomore summer, I had been dealing with a torn ligament in my groin from lifting, which caused some inflammation and swelling, which basically triggered my body to, my immune system to start attacking itself. So I was dealing with lightheadedness and passing out and not being able to walk very well. And so I went to the emergency room, and they didn't diagnose me right away, but I walked into the emergency room and received, I think it was 7 quarts of fluid from being dehydrated, and then I think 5 separate blood transfusions within 3 days.
Wow, that's a lot. So can you tell us more about the disease and what it's been like since you've been diagnosed?
The disease itself, everyone technically has it. It's built into a genetic code. It's not anything that's handed down genetically or acquired. It's just something that has to be triggered. So in my case, it was the inflammation from the injury that caused it.
Okay.
But then it's technically an immune system disease, so I had to receive chemotherapy and all number of things to try to suppress that, and I've just started to get my immune system back, but I dealt with the typical chemo symptoms. My hair started to fall out and become thin, and I bruised very easily and had all kinds of problems.
So this is basically a disease that anybody's susceptible to, but it just has to have something to trigger it?
Exactly.
Okay. So with this disease, what does a typical day look like for you, and how has it changed your day-to-day routine?
It started out with doctor's appointments about every other day, and I had to do what's called hemodialysis, where they hook you up to a machine that pulls blood out of your primary artery, cleans it, and then puts it back in because your kidneys no longer function to pull toxins out of your body. And that was every other day. I had to go in at 5 in the morning go into the hospital for 3 hours to do that.
Oh my gosh.
But now I'm on it's called a PD system, where it's a little more gentle. It's every night for about 11 hours. I'm stuck in my room and hooked up to a machine that puts fluid in me and pulls it out, and basically that's what's keeping me from being septic and toxic.
I see. So, since you haven't been at school, I know I haven't seen you at school that much, but so is it basically just because of doctor's appointments and, like you said, having to be in your room for such long periods of time?
Well, part of that is now that the doctor's appointments have calmed down, so I only have to go to the doctor really once every other week.
That's good.
But yeah, if I have a family event or something that I have to go to on Wednesday, and I get home too late, then that 11 hours is going to run into the school day, and I'll be late the next day. So I have to. It's very stressful because I'm always on a time crunch no matter where I am. So.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be. That's insane. So with the upcoming months and being a senior and graduation, prom, everything like that, what's life gonna look like for you, both with your disease and just trying to be a regular senior here at Treynor?
We did decide just for treatment purposes to go through Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, because their statistics are far better than anything the Med Center or anywhere over here has.
Mm-hmm.
So with their system, once I go on the transplant list, if a transplant comes up in any of the, so because I went in when I was a minor at 17, I not only pull from the Minnesota pool for transplants, I also pull from the whole Midwest, as I was a pediatric at the time of entering their care. But through Mayo, I also pull from their other locations in Florida and Arizona. But so basically, if a transplant comes up, then they give me a call. It could be 2 in the morning. They give me a call. I have to be out of the house and up to Rochester, Minnesota within 12 hours for it to work.
So you just kind of always have to be on call, ready to go?
Mm-hmm. I could never turn my phone off.
Wow. That's crazy. So do you plan on like continuing your education, or what is your plans for the future looking like?
Just because of flexibility and things like that, I've decided to pursue college all online.
Oh, okay.
And start my own business, whether it be a restaurant or a coffee shop, something to that effect, where I make my own hours, and if I have a day where I'm really sick, I'm down, I can just say the store's closed for today. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a little more flexible than hopping from job to job where I get fired constantly for being absent.
Right. Well, that's awesome, and that's says a lot that you've taken the time to think about those things on top of like everything you've had to deal with. And I think that's great that you have a plan for your future and you're still working towards some goals, and that's great. So I wish you best of luck. Okay, let's lighten the mood a little bit. So I know you're really into music and you play the guitar. So can you tell us more about that? Like who your favorite artists and everything?
I kind of started out I wasn't really as into music as until I started playing guitar. I started when I was in 6th grade. I started learning bass guitar for the concert band at my old school.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it, and then my teacher knows how to play bass guitar and regular guitar, so I decided to pick up regular 6 string, and I fell in love with that and kind of dropped off the bass. Other than, I mean, I could play it, but it's just not a passion of mine. And then the guitar is just something I've come into naturally. Like Pop's concert, when I played my sophomore year, I was gonna do with a group, and then it kind of fell through, and then so I was kind of in trouble the night before. So I go to my teacher. I'm like, here's the deal. So we took a whole bunch of Metallica songs, put them all in a compilation. I edited them all together on my computer, and I memorized the whole thing the night before and performed it the next night. So.
That's crazy. That takes talent for sure. That's awesome. So very cool. Do you think you're gonna pursue anything with that, or do you think you'll keep it as a hobby? Or?
I might pursue something, whether it's a band on the weekends or something.
Cool.
Just something to keep up with it.
Good. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well, thanks for talking with me today. This is Annalise for TNT. Have a good day, Treynor.